Hello, information passionate watchers. I'm Annette Weller-Collison, the Chief Operating Officer and Vice President of Consulting Services at Con Consulting. I want to welcome you to episode 2 of Con Consulting series on the Executive's Guide to Navigating the Information Universe. Just on a side comment, if you watched episode 1 in this series, you noticed that my face wasn't on the screen, but our watchers wanted to see a face. So here you go. You get to watch my face during this episode. Please enjoy. For most companies, information will be a differentiator. Even if a company has been around for decades making widgets, its information today is as real as any physical plant or inventory and needs to be treated as such. Today, your organization is an information business, even if you don't think it is. The value in the information a company has must be harvested and harnessed. Companies have to become transformative in the way they do business. Transformative companies have leadership that sees information as a differentiator and is envisioning, nurturing, and growing an information culture amongst the employees and its partners. We live in an era where certain businesses, information is really all that there is. Think about companies like Airbnb, Lyft, Uber, which make nothing but connections through the use of information and data that they have available. It links consumers with private homes and rides electronically. The new technology, data, and connectivity and insight are helping shake up industries and even how companies and their customers think about how business is being done in an information-intensive economy. Businesses really have changed over the last decade, and information is the heart of most businesses today. As a result, all businesses must pivot or perish. Given today's reality, the need to identify and govern information has become essential from a competitive, profitability, and risk standpoint. Successful businesses use information technology to cut through the noise caused by extraneous information that causes confusion rather than clarifies. Having, harnessing, and harvesting the right information can transform a business. Leaders in every organization need to know what information the organization has, how it can be used to better their own business or be shared or sold to increase revenue. You can't harness your information if you don't know that the information exists. Unfortunately, many companies find themselves in a position where they don't know what data they have across the entire enterprise. Business units and programs like privacy, records management, risk, and the like still function in somewhat of a silo. Records management professionals only care about records and how they're managed and how long they're retained. Privacy folks care about personally identifiable information and where that is in the company and that it's following privacy laws and regulations. And business unit people, they care about the information from a standpoint of making their P&Ls look good and making their business units more efficient in how they're delivering the service or the product that they deliver. Nobody really looks across the entire enterprise at the information to ensure that it's being used for the value that it actually presents to the organization. And that really has to change going forward. People have to start looking at different uses, alternate uses for the information that they're gathering through one business process to enhance other business processes. When you have hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of employees managing different parts of your information universe on a daily basis, it can be really difficult to cross-pollinate the data to find the bigger, more valuable hidden asset in the data. Companies need to learn from other innovative companies that have pioneered new thinking on how data can transform their businesses. And they need to start taking action on that and figuring out how you manage and put the right governance models in place to ensure that you're managing the risk while you're capitalizing on the opportunities that the information presents to the organization. Changing the mindset of the entire organization starts with provoking your employees to look outside of the information box. Each and every employee should take the time to consider how the data they manage on behalf of the company could be used to improve performance, reduce cost, impact the company's bottom line, be sold to another company as a revenue source for them, inform future product or service development, lots of other alternate purposes that data can be used for. And employees need to start thinking about that data as an asset. They also need to explore how cross-pollinated data from across their enterprise can be harvested to drive change. Data can often be very informative on what change needs to take place in a company to stay current and to be competitive. Leaders are in the best place to foster this crucial strategic thinking and the change in culture on how people view information in the company. Information governance professionals need to help foster cross-pollination of information and help the organization manage the risk that may come along with it. Just because you have information in your organization doesn't necessarily mean you can do whatever you want to do with the information. You still have to follow laws and regulations, such as privacy regulations, on what you can do with information. So why aren't companies using their data for alternate purposes or using some of today's fancy technology to generate new, very valuable information? Seems pretty obvious that they should already have started to explore opportunities related to the information that's generated today. But often in companies, there are roles or people that stifle innovation because of a fear of the unknown. As an example, attorneys, compliance professionals, some IT folks, information governance professionals, when they don't understand something, they may tend to shy away from it or be a naysayer to the organization. But understanding and taking the time to understand technology and the data that is produced is becoming crucial for companies. If you don't understand the complexity of artificial intelligence technology, it's hard to understand what laws and regulations may be applicable to them and what you really need to do as you manage the information that's associated with artificial intelligence. But the business value should really outweigh the fear of being afraid of trying to figure out how you manage that information. You have to really reach out and have it explained to you. Talk to the technology providers, talk to the software providers for the products you're using, talk to regulators, talk to judges, talk to specialized litigation attorneys, talk to consultants, and learn, ask the questions, have them explain the technology to you, have them draw the correlation from an old paper world and a regulation to how they anticipate. A lot of regulatory bodies are, putting out guidelines or frequently asked questions that will are starting to address today's technology and interpreting what a law or regulation means to today's technology. So you can look for that additional help that's out there and available to learn about things. So, for many people, so let's just say as an example, you're an automotive manufacturing company and you want to start using a quality inspection tool on your assembly line. The simplest question comes right to mind. What is considered the quality record when you have an artificial intelligence tool making the pass or fail decision for you? Is it the hundreds of pictures that it takes in, a matter of seconds? Do you keep each one of those pictures? How long do you keep them? Can you ever tie that back to a specific part number? What was the like record back when a human was making the decision? What does NHTSA say about the use of that quality artificial intelligence tool? Lots and lots of things come to mind when you think about something as simple as deploying a quality inspection tool just to pass a part and reduce labor. But they're all answers you can figure out. They're all answers that can be answered, and the risk can be managed associated with those. So the questions can go on and on and on. I think you start with writing down the questions. You start with understanding what is today's world that you're dealing with, and how has it changed with what you're dealing with going forward. You look at the new kinds of data that it's generating. Most recently you hear a lot about customer sentiment data, pixel tracking versus cookies, AIoT devices, IoT devices. They're all newer generation technology that is creating very valuable data, but it's also very unknown to certain professions in the organization that are trying to help guide the organization on managing that information. But we have to get over the fear, and we have to really break it down and start asking the right questions, and get advice from people that understand the technology, have expertise in it, understand laws and regulations and how they apply to the technology, and start to get our organizations to get past the fear and start to harness the value of the information that these new technologies are generating. So you're probably tired of hearing me talk about this topic. So let's wrap up this episode. Just in summary, executives must ensure that companies are transformative movers if they want to stay competitive. Information governance professionals and lawyers need to help the organization manage the risk. Every time an organization wants to exploit its information, issues of privacy, information security, retention of information, use of information, intellectual property rights are all implicated. Lawyers and information governance professionals should always guide the company through new information-focused innovations to ensure that the right and proper handling and governance rules are put in place to reduce the risk with that new information and technology that's being brought into the company. I hope you found this episode to be inspirational and informative. I hope you join me on episode 3 in this series, which is titled, "The Days of Companies Controlling Their Information is Over." If you want to discuss this topic more, please feel free to reach out to us. Our contact information is below. We always enjoy hearing other people's points of views and sharing our knowledge. So we would enjoy hearing from you.